Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, in particular Pure OCD, which is also the name of my memoir. You can get that at Amazon.com or booklocker.com. I'm also a certified peer support specialist, working with you all over the world as you are working toward recovery for OCD, contemplating going to therapy, or just wherever you are in your recovery journey. And I can also provide referrals to therapists anywhere in the world. NoCD and OCD is an app, and they also provide telehealth for ERP. Inside the app, you can find resources and also other people who live with OCD, which can be really helpful as you're working toward recovery. So I bet you're curious about the title of this video. I really wanted to come on here today, not as a form of reassurance, but a form of assurance. If you are struggling with this, or if this is a barrier in seeking treatment or in treatment or just in general moving forward in recovery. As you know, I am in my master's program right now in psychology, and right now in the last couple of weeks I've just been working pretty hard on my final project, which is kind of the culmination of everything you learn in grad school. And so we have to design a research project. I'm not going to get into all of that, but of course my research project is on OCD. And I have found some really interesting information that I want to share with you that may help give you hope, that may help you feel validated or justified in where you are in your experience, or even in reflecting on what you've been through with OCD. Some of the research that I'm doing involves shame. Now, as you know, I talk about shame a lot on my channel. I talk about how shame can absolutely be part of the experience of OCD, and a lot of times therapy doesn't remedy that, and there's a reason. And I have found that out in doing kind of a literary review of research on OCD. This is not just about taboo, intrusive thoughts. This shame can be present in any of your experience with OCD. It doesn't matter what the theme is. A lot of the reason why shame can be present is because OCD is ego dystonic. And I've talked about this before. That means you have these intrusive thoughts, you have these things that are going on in your head, but that ego dystonic piece is telling you, I know that this isn't real, but I cannot stop doing the compulsions. Why is this happening? It is because it's coming from a part of the brain that is more behavior than logic, but you're trying to solve this from a logical angle. So this creates a lot of doubt, and this creates a lot of self-esteem issues, because logically, if we can think to ourselves, this is so stupid, but I'm continuing to try to solve it, that is going to impact how we view ourselves. It's going to impact how we think we can problem solve, whether we can trust ourselves, whether we can trust our gut, which then translates over into our self-esteem and how we are reacting, or how we look at ourselves and how we interact with the world and other people, blah, blah, blah. So this isn't necessarily just about taboo or what is sometimes called unacceptable thoughts. But I am going to focus on that because that is what the research focuses on. So I don't want you to feel left out if you don't have those thoughts, but you're still experiencing shame, and or shame is getting in the way of your recovery, or whether you're going to get treatment, or whether you're successful in treatment. So the focus of my research, the actual literary review, has been looking up how OCD and shame interact. And the results that I have found have just been mind-blowing. Things that some of those things that you just kind of always know, and especially in meeting people all over the world and hearing the same stories over and over and over about barriers to treatment, barriers to getting better, the shame is getting in the way. So to be able to find research that really backs that up is exhilarating for me, and hopefully for you. What I have found is that several studies are coming out recently that are talking about how shame, when you are experiencing shame, and a lot of times that shame is going to be around unacceptable thoughts, so we'll call them taboo, intrusive thoughts. That shame can get in the way of doing treatment and having effective treatment. So what does that mean? The themes matter. And I have always hated when people say the themes don't matter. I've said that before and I'm correcting myself now when I would say in treatment the themes don't matter. The research is contradicting that. The research that is coming out is saying if a theme is causing a high degree of shame and the shame is not addressed, there is a barrier to treatment, meaning treatment may not be effective, or you may be unwilling to engage in treatment because the shame is so big. So one of the things I wanted to talk about just really quickly is I hear this a lot from individuals who are contemplating treatment, seeking treatment actively, or in treatment, or even after treatment, where if the treatment protocol is maybe, maybe not, oh, gag me, or if it is just at the end of the day, you have to accept that you might be a pedophile or a murderer. That is a barrier for people to say, oh, I'll go get treatment, because it is unacceptable for them, especially, like, not especially, but just let's say, for example, if you're a parent and you have POCD about your kids, how are we expecting people in therapy to be like, oh, I might be this? Because I don't even have to say what it is. It's just unacceptable. And a lot of the language and wording and everything else that we're hearing is, well, I guess if you don't want to do that, then you don't want to get better. And that is such bullshit. It's so not person-centered, it's so not strengths-based, and it's so not trauma-informed. So today, I just wanted to share this with you because it's not you. It's probably not you. I have to say probably, just to keep it a little, like, not completely. It's probably not you. It's probably the shame. And the other thing is, you will hear a lot about how when you go into treatment, you have to shut your emotions down and you just have to do the work. And I believe this for a long time, and probably have said this in videos as well. And again, I kind of stand corrected here, is if you can't shut shame down in order to do the work, then how are you going to be able to do the work? So I'm here today specifically to validate you, to help you see that maybe if treatment didn't work, or maybe if you're scared of treatment, or you think to yourself, there's no way, even if I got treatment, I wouldn't be able to live with myself because of the thoughts that I've had. I wouldn't be able to live with myself because of the experience. I hear that a lot. Those words even directly reflect shame. And I wanted you to hear today that what I have found out is that shame can be such a huge burden on us with OCD that the whole experience then becomes wrapped up in the shame, and it might be the reason why you can't take a step forward. Now, I don't have a solution, and I hate that. I'm not supposed to anyway, because I'm not clinical. I'm certified peer support, but that's not a clinical position. I don't have a solution, except if you think this is relevant to you, seek out treatment options that can reduce shame. Do I know what those are? I don't. I can't pinpoint what's going to work for you. The problem with the research that is out there now is that it calls for shame reduction, either at the same time that you're doing therapy, or pre-therapy and then therapy. But there isn't any research that says, oh, here's the protocol on how to do that. I'm sure that there is shame reduction, evidence-based shame reduction therapy out there. I cannot say, go this route and this will help. One of the things that's mentioned is ACT, so acceptance commitment therapy, mindfulness, compassion focused therapy. That's not as big here in the US, but I know it's pretty big in the UK. So those target the emotional part of it and help reduce shame. But I know that peer support, what I do, and groups, they are very helpful in shame reduction. And so that's, what, and if for me it was, especially when I started working with a peer, I was like, wow. I mean, the shame came, really came down for me in so many areas of my life. And so that is an option, but I would encourage you to think about, if this has become a barrier for you, to really look at this as it's not necessarily your fault, right? We can't control emotions. We can't just stop emotions. And if that shame is there, and if it's deep and deeply embedded in what you were experiencing, maybe look to target that. Even if you've been through treatment, you can still target it. Talk to your therapist. Ask them for tools and ways of reducing shame. Get their input. Look for a therapist that help reduce shame. Look for things in your life that help with shame reduction, because shame could be the barrier to why you feel stuck. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, that we're going in new directions. It seems like it. There are new avenues that are opening up, that are really looking at the actual experience of someone with OCD, instead of just this very cut and dried, this is how it is for everybody. Because it's not this way for everybody. Not only are we complex human beings with all kinds of things that have happened to us, and trauma, we have comorbidities and dual diagnosis at times, but not every experience is going to respond the same way. And that to treatment, and that in itself can make you feel hopeless, or can even perpetuate shame. So I hope that this brings you hope, that there may be other avenues, or maybe validated that if you felt like shame was in the way and no one was listening or no one was believing you, it is a barrier to treatment, and you're not alone, and it's not your fault. The themes do matter. And I know that we're going to start seeing that moving forward, because when they're attached to these emotions that are getting in the way of getting better, we need to start focusing on how to help with the emotions that are really hindering us with specific themes, or if it's just part of what your theme is. So I hope that helps. If you're looking for peer support services, or if you want to inquire about my groups that I run, please go to ChrissyHodges.com. And again, if you're looking for ERP telehealth, go to treatmyocd.com. I hope you have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you here in a few days.